What's happening, Patriots? We're here for a special live broadcast of, well, as you can see, Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu holding first joint briefing, talking ceasefire. A lot of news is probably going to come out of this. I mean, hell, it's Donald Trump. How could it not? People are gathering around. Who knows when they'll actually come out? But we'll make sure we are here for it. And I see everybody in the live chat already. We're going to start trying to go to 2 a day live stream, meaning 1 in the morning and then whatever news is in the afternoon, because hell, there is so much of it that we can't stay on top of it by just doing our regular scheduled programming in the morning. You can't see, but right where I am at, right here, Peter Doocy is sitting. So we will be trying to tune into what Mr. Doocy has to say. He did ask Donald Trump, hey, if the terrorist groups out there assassinate you, what's going to happen? And Donald Trump says that he has a contingency plan already set in place for something like that occurs. And well, he was not mincing his words where he said, basically, Iran will be wiped off the face of the earth if something like that takes place. So the man ain't messing around, and neither are we during this live stream. Good to see everybody. Paul, Outdoor Living, Danielle's here. Everybody's joining us. Good to see all the Patriots in the chat. Hit that like button so we can get the news out there to everybody. Like I said, we're watching this live. It is a live broadcast on YouTube, on Rumble, and on X. And while we're waiting, we'll be covering the news as well. So hang tight, folks. We'll be here for a while. If you're just tuning in and you're new to our show, well, we do a live broadcast, a live podcast, I should say, every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, covering all the major headlines you need to know about. And what's nice about joining our show is not do you just get the entertainment factor out of the show, you're going to get the energy factor from me bright and early in the morning to wake you up. But also, you're going to go into all your other podcasts that you probably listen to throughout the day, having a pretty good gauge on what the heck is going on in the country and having a good understanding of all the major topics that they're going to unravel for you as well. So like I said, it's a good podcast to kick your day off. And if I thought it sucked, well, I wouldn't lean you towards joining me in the morning. But you also have a lot of people. There's Peter Doocy himself. A lot of people that are really engaging with our community. We are growing and would love for you to be a part of it. So I see there's a lot of people tuning in over at X. There's a lot of people tuning over at Rumble. What's going on, Jerry? And a lot of people joining us on YouTube. It'll take a while for people to start joining in, but you can get a gander at Peter Doocy here. And while we are waiting, let's check some stuff out over at let's go over to this. Let's do a little surprise factor for the Patriots here. Let's see if I can pull it up in real time for all of you. We do have a TikTok account, and if you're not familiar with that, well, let me show you. This is our TikTok account. As you can see, we're trying to grow here a little bit. I don't put too much time into it, but lately I have been. Well, we got like almost 400,000 views here, 157,000 views here, almost 410,000 views here. Here's the latest viral clip. This one is pissing off a lot of people. And let me tell you, they ain't happy with your boy leaving this and basically saying that the president of Mexico's bent the knee. She's kissing the ring. Oh, kiss it. Getting her lipstick all over Donald Trump's ring. He's having to send it in to get cleaned. Well, let me tell you, they're pissed off and they're saying a bunch of nonsense. They're going, Donald Trump caved. Donald Trump caved to her demands. It's like, okay, what was her demands? To stop sending weapons into Mexico. Trump never sent weapons into Mexico, you idiots. He's been there for 9 days. He's sending weapons into Mexico and it's killing our people. You mean the cartels and the drug lords that you guys allow to run roughshod over your entire country? Those are the people that are killing your people. And you got to love it. Tell Donald Trump to stop sending guns across a secure border that he secured with the biggest military in the world. Come on. Does that make any sense to anybody? And then they go, oh, well, he's having them, I don't know what I'm talking about. What they're saying is that Donald Trump allegedly caved to not just the 35% tariffs that allegedly she was going to impose on all of us, but the 10,000 troops that they're saying that she said she was going to send to the border, but they were already there. This is really what they're saying. Hand to God, go through all this. I've been, as you can see, look at all my comments. I'm leaving these people. Look at all of it. Look at it. I've been engaging. What they don't get, because you have to spoon feed these Democrat idiots all the time through everything. In 2019, Donald Trump demanded that Mexico send 10,000 troops to the border. And then what they're coming out and saying is, there was already troops at the border. Yeah, because Donald Trump demanded it in 2019. And then they go, well, Joe Biden made negotiations to send troops to the border too. No. Those negotiations weren't about sending troops to the border, you knuckleheads. It was to maintain the troops that Donald Trump had them send to the border back in 2019. So if that's not bringing everybody up to speed of what's happening here, Donald Trump in 2019 says, hey, I want Mexican troops at the border to help stop the surge of illegal immigration that was happening under frickin' Barack Obama's regime. So they send 10,000 troops to the border. Joe Biden comes into office in 2021 and goes, hey, I want Mexico to maintain the troops that are at the border. Then you get all these Democrats coming out and going, there's already troops there. No, that's not how it works. Donald Trump wanted an additional 10,000 troops now in 2025. They don't get how stuff works. You got to go and look at this, really. I mean, I'll send you guys here the link. Go have fun. Just go have fun with all these people, really. It's bonkers how they try to rationalize this stuff and make sense of it. Looks like we got J.D. Vance in the room. You also have Pete Hegseth. I mean, hell, the entire cabinet looks like they showed up here. Secretary of Defense there was most recently at the southern border, so it looks like he's been all around. Dude goes to the southern border, flies back to D.C. for this big old meeting. You got the vice president doing the Lord's work down here. Peter Ducey's also working. I mean, it seems like Donald Trump is contagious. Everybody's working around here. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you over there at Rumble. HK Brad, are you covering Trump's press conference? Yes, that's what's happening right now. Unless there's another one after, but I think this is the press conference. Are you talking about the one in the Oval? We can do whatever you want, baby. We can do whatever you want. I'll cover it all. But like I said, we're going to start trying to do maybe 2 a days or something along those lines here to give you guys a little bit more of the information that's coming out and making sure we're on top of it. But if there was another press conference, I'm trying to look. I know there was one earlier, but I don't know if that's the one you folks are talking about. We'll see what takes place. Looks like a lot of people are standing around, but if you got the vice president there shooting the you-know-what with people, he's probably coming out soon. Looks like as of yesterday, 715 illegal immigrants have been arrested. Criminals, people that, rape, murdering people that Democrats want to keep in the country. Well, how do we know that? Well, they're protesting in the streets. I have not seen the one in the Oval, but we could definitely cover it. If not today, we'll definitely pull some highlights from for tomorrow's episode for sure. I'll definitely look into that then. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is one of the guys that the Democrats want to keep in their sanctuary cities, folks. Arrested by ICE Dallas. Dallas, I believe, is left-leaning. Dallas is getting a little bit more blue. It's kind of freaky. But you got this individual. Let's see. Nicaraguan national was arrested by ICE just yesterday. Sexual assault, strong arm, and lewd acts. Oh, that's nice. With a minor. Oh, goody, goody. Look at that. Like I said, Democrats will go out of their way to protest to have this scumbag stay in the country. You can't say that they aren't. I mean, literally, Gavin Newsom of California is trying to keep people like that in the country. So I'm trying to, actually, you know what I should do? I should bring this over here just so I have it on my screen so I know when Mr. 47 comes out and takes the stage. Oh, looks like maybe we got that going on now. Yep, here we go.
Thank you very much.
What's going on, Mac Pack Mama?
That's a lot of press. Congratulations. You bring them out. You really bring them out.
Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out.
Welcome Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu back to the White House. It's a wonderful feeling and a wonderful event. We had fantastic talks. and thank you very much with your staff. He's the first foreign head of state to visit during our administration, and Bibi, I want to say it's an honor to have you with us. Over the past 4 years, the U.S. and the Israeli alliance has been tested more than any time in history. But the bonds of friendship and affection between the American and Israeli people have endured for generations, and they are absolutely unbreakable. They are unbreakable. I'm confident that under our leadership, the cherished alliance between our two countries will soon be stronger than ever. We had a great relationship. We had great victories together 4 years ago. Not so many victories over the past 4 years, however. In my first term, Prime Minister and I forged a tremendously successful partnership that brought peace and stability to the Middle East like it hadn't seen in decades.
That's right.
Together we defeated ISIS. We ended the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, one of the worst deals ever made, by the way.
Correct.
And imposed the toughest ever sanctions on the Iranian regime. We starved Hamas and Iran's other terrorist proxies, and we starved them like they had never seen before. Resources and support disappeared for them. I recognized Israel's capital, opened the American embassy in Jerusalem, and got it built, by the way. Built it too, just not only designated it, but got it built at a price that nobody's seen for 40 years. We got it built. It's beautiful, all Jerusalem stone, right from nearby, and it's something that's very special. And recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, something that they talked about for 70 years, and they weren't able to get it, and I got it. And with the historic Abraham Accord, something that was really an achievement that was, I think, going to become more and more important because we achieved the most significant Middle East peace agreements in half a century, but the Abraham Accords in particular, and I really believe that many countries will soon be joining this amazing peace and economic development transaction. It really is a big economic development transaction. I think we're going to have a lot of people signing up very quickly. Unfortunately, for 4 years, nobody signed up. Nobody did anything for 4 years except in the negative. Unfortunately, the weakness and incompetence of those years, those past 4 years, the grave damage around the globe that was done, including in the Middle East, grave damage all over the globe.
I think so too, Danielle.
The horrors of October 7th would never have happened if I were president. The Ukraine and Russia disaster would never have happened if I were president. Over the past 16 months, Israel has endured a sustained, aggressive, and murderous assault on every front, but they fought back bravely. You see that, and you know that. What we have witnessed is an all-out attack on the very existence of a Jewish state in the Jewish homeland. The Israelis have stood strong and united in the face of an enemy that has kidnapped, tortured, raped, and slaughtered innocent men, women, children, and even little babies.
Just terrible.
I want to salute the Israeli people for meeting this trial with courage and determination and unflinching resolve. They have been strong. In our meetings today, the Prime Minister and I focused on the future, discussing how we can work together to ensure Hamas is eliminated and ultimately restore peace to a very troubled region. It's been troubled, but what's happened in the last 4 years has not been good. I want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for working closely with my transition team, the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who's here somewhere. Steve?
There's Steve.
What a job
he was talking to J.D. Vance.
What a good job you've done. Proud of you. Done a fantastic
Steve
job.
Witkoff.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Thank you, Mike, for working so well with us.
Where's Mike?
Thank you. We have, in addition, Marco Rubio, who is on the phone right now, listening to every single word that we say.
Marco's working a lot,
he's
man.
Going to be great. And Pete, congratulations. And Scott, congratulations. I see you're here. And Caroline's been doing a great job. She's really probably talked about more than anybody here. She's done a fantastic job, and thank you very much, Caroline. We're proud of you. But we'll only be satisfied when all of these problems are solved, and we have the team to solve them, and that's going to happen. And it's going to happen, I think, very quickly. I also strongly believe that the Gaza Strip, which has been a symbol of death and destruction for so many decades, and
terrible,
so bad for the people anywhere near it, and especially those who live there, and frankly, who's been really very unlucky. It's been very unlucky. It's been an unlucky place for a long time. Being in its presence just has not been good, and it should not go through a process of rebuilding and occupation by the same people that have really stood there and fought for it and lived there and died there and lived a miserable existence there. Instead, we should go to other countries of interest with humanitarian hearts, and there are many of them that want to do this, and build various domains that will ultimately be occupied by the 1.8 million Palestinians living in Gaza, ending the death and destruction and, frankly, bad luck. This can be paid for by neighboring countries of great wealth. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12. It could be numerous sites, or it could be one large site. But the people will be able to live in comfort and peace, and we'll make sure something really spectacular is done. They're going to have peace. They're not going to be shot at and killed and destroyed like this civilization of wonderful people has had to endure. The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too.
Whoa, that's big news.
And be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job. Do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
That means boots on the ground in Gaza.
That this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace.
I was not expecting that.
Bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation again. A lot's happened in the last couple of weeks. We are actually a very respected nation again. I ended the last administration's de facto arms embargo on over $1 billion in military assistance for Israel. And I'm also pleased to announce that this afternoon, the United States withdrew from the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council and ended all of the support for the UN Relief and Works Agency, which funneled money to Hamas and which was very disloyal
Very
to
good
humanity.
move to get out of that.
Today, I also took action to restore a maximum pressure policy on the Iranian regime, and we will once again enforce the most aggressive possible sanctions, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, and diminish the regime's capacity to fund terror throughout the region and throughout the world. We had no threat when I left office. Iran was not able to sell oil. Nobody was buying oil because I said, don't buy it. If you buy it, you're not doing any business with the United States. And Hamas was not being funded. Hezbollah was not being funded. Nobody was being funded. There would never have been an October 7th. 2 weeks ago, I once again designated the Houthis as a terrorist organization. They're trying to destroy world shipping lanes, and that's not going to happen. And over the weekend, I ordered airstrikes against senior ISIS leaders hiding in the caves of Somalia and took them out. Here in America, we've begun the process of deporting foreign terrorists, jihadists, and Hamas sympathizers from our soil, just as we have people that are extremely evil, and we're sending them out of our country. They came from jails. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they were dumped into our country. They're gang members. We're getting them out at numbers that nobody can actually believe. And every single country is taking those people back. They said they would never take them back, and they're all taking them back, and they're taking them back very gladly. And I recently signed an executive order combating the vile wave of anti-Semitism that we've seen in the aftermath of the October 7th attacks. Together, America and Israel will renew the optimism that shined so brightly just 4 years ago. It was really a bright, beautiful light. We will restore calm and stability to the region and expand prosperity, opportunity, and hope to our nations and for all people of the Middle East, including the Arab and Muslim nations. Very important. We want the Arab and Muslim nations to have peace and have tranquility and have great lives. I'd like to now invite Prime Minister Netanyahu to say a few words, and we'll take some questions afterwards. Thank you very much.
Well said, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm honored that you invited me to be the first foreign leader to visit the White House in your second term. This is a testament to your friendship and support for the Jewish state and the Jewish people. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You are the greatest friend Israel has ever had in the White House.
Boom, baby! He's
That's
not
why
wrong.
the people of Israel have such enormous respect for you. In your first term, you recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. You moved the American embassy there. You recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. You withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. I remember we spoke about it. You said, this is the worst deal I've ever seen. I'm elected. I'm walking out of it. That's exactly what you did.
Yep.
And I think it speaks loudly for just common sense, just looking at things and seeing them as they are. And of course, you also brokered the groundbreaking Abraham Accords in which Israel made peace with 4 Arab states. We did this in 4 months. Nothing happened for a quarter of a century, but in 4 months, we were able, working together under your leadership, to have 4 historic peace accords. And now in the first days of your second term, you picked up right where you left off. Your leadership helped bring our hostages home, among them American citizens. You freed up munitions that have been withheld from Israel. They had been withheld from Israel in the midst of a 7-front war for our existence. And you just freed it. You ended unjust sanctions against law-abiding Israeli citizens. You boldly confronted the scourge of anti-Semitism. You stopped funding, as you just said, international organizations like UNRWA that support and fund terrorists. And today, you renewed the maximum pressure campaign against Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, all this in just 2 weeks.
Yep.
Can we imagine where we'll be in 4 years?
Baby!
I can. I know you can, Mr. President.
2 weeks.
For our part, we in Israel have been pretty busy too. Since the horrendous October 7th attack, we've been fighting our common enemies and changing the face of the Middle East. On that infamous day, Hamas monsters savagely murdered 1,200 innocent people, including more than 40 Americans. They beheaded men, they raped women, they burnt babies alive.
Crazy.
And they took 251 people hostage to the dungeons of Gaza. And after this worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust, Iran and its henchmen in the Middle East were absolutely ecstatic. Haniya praised the massacre. Sinwar said that Israel was finished. Nasrallah boasted that Israel was, here's what he said, as feeble as a spider's web. Well, Mr. President, Haniya is gone. Sinwar is gone. Nasrallah is gone. We've devastated Hamas. We decimated Hezbollah. We destroyed Assad's remaining armaments. And we crippled Iran's air defenses. And in doing this,
In just 2 weeks. Huh?
we've defeated some of America's worst enemies. We took out terrorists who were wanted for decades for shedding rivers of American blood, including the blood of 241 Marines murdered in Beirut. We accomplished all this with the indomitable spirit of our people and the boundless courage of our soldiers. The Bible says that the people of Israel shall rise like lions, and boy did we rise. Today, the roar of the Lion of Judah is heard loudly throughout the Middle East. Israel has never been stronger, and the Iran terror axis has never been weaker. But as we discussed, Mr. President, to secure our future and bring peace to our region, we have to finish the job. In Gaza, Israel has 3 goals: destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities, secure the release of all of our hostages, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. I believe, Mr. President, that your willingness to puncture conventional thinking that has failed time and time and time again, your willingness to think outside the box with fresh ideas will help us achieve all these goals. And I've seen you do this many times. You cut to the chase. You see things others refuse to see. You say things others refuse to say. And after the jaws drop, people scratch their heads and they say, you know, he's right. And this is the kind of thinking that enabled us to bring the Abraham Accords. This is the kind of thinking that will reshape the Middle East and bring peace. We also see eye to eye on Iran. That's the same Iran that tried to kill us both. They tried to kill you, Mr. President. They tried through their proxies to kill me.
Yep.
We're
Tried to
both
get him with a
committed
drone
to
attack.
rolling back Iran's aggression in the region and ensuring that Iran never develops a nuclear weapon. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, Israel will end the war by winning the war. Israel's victory will be America's victory. We will not only win the war, working together, we will win the peace. With your leadership, Mr. President, and our partnership, I believe that we will forge a brilliant future for our region and bring our great alliance to even greater heights. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much, baby. Very nice. Thank you. And J.D. Vance, everybody. J.D., please, Vice President, stand up. He's been doing a good job. He's been working very hard on
Just shows up.
all things, but this in particular.
I'm here.
We'll take some questions, please.
Love it. Get Peter.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Can a normalization deal with Saudi Arabia be achieved without the acknowledgement of a Palestinian state? That question for you too, Mr. Prime Minister. And Mr. President, given what you've said about Gaza, did the U.S. send troops to help secure the security vacuum?
So Saudi Arabia is going to be very helpful, and they have been very helpful. They want peace in the Middle East. It's very simple. We know their leader and their leaders very well. They're wonderful people, and they want peace in the Middle East. As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that peace, and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs, and it'll be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of. But everybody feels that continuing the same process that's gone on forever, over and over again, and then it starts, and then the killing starts, and all of the other problems start, and you end up in the same place, and we don't want to see that happen. So by the United States, with its stability and strength, owning it, especially the strength that we're developing and developed over the last fairly short period of time, I would say really since the election, I think we'll be a keeper of something that is very, very strong, very powerful, and very, very good for the area, not just for Israel, for the entire Middle East. Very important. And we'll again, have thousands of jobs, and there'll be jobs for everyone, not for a specific group of people, but for everybody. Okay, please.
I think peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia is not only feasible, I think it's going to happen. I think if
Wow.
we had another half a year in your first term, it would have already happened.
True. Many more, I agree, many more nations.
I think you can't prejudge and pre-guess how we'll achieve it, but I'm committed to achieving it. And I know the president is committed to achieving it, and I think the Saudi leadership is interested to achieve it. So we'll give it a good shot, and I think we'll succeed.
Yeah, please go ahead. Well, I can't tell you whether or not the ceasefire will hold. We've done, I think, a very masterful job. We weren't helped very much by the Biden administration, I can tell you that. But we've gotten quite a few hostages out. We're going to get more out. But we're dealing with very complex people. And we are going to see whether or not it holds. We certainly want to have more come out. They've come out damaged in many ways, very damaged people. But they're going to get better, and they're going to be strong, and they're going to have a good life. And we hope to get as many as possible out. Whether or not it holds, I don't know. We hope it holds. We hope it holds.
I think that at the appropriate time, which I think will enable us to really investigate what happens, what were the causes of the failures, by an independent commission that will be accepted by the majority of the people. We don't want it accepted by one half of the people and not the other. I think we should have it, and we should find out exactly what happened. I'm insisting on it. And believe me, it'll surprise a lot of people when it happens.
Kelly, go ahead.
You are outlining something that is really quite striking tonight. You are talking about... Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister. You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory.
She caught on to that.
What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent.
There's going to be a bleep storm over this, you guys. You don't understand.
Nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over. It's just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle. And it's
this is the news story.
Place to be.
This is the major headline.
Going to get worse, and I think this is.
I'm telling you right now, this is going to explode.
And I'm talking about from the highest
people are going to lose their shit.
Gotten tremendous praise, and if the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that. Bibi.
Wow.
I mentioned again today, our 3 goals, and the third goal is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. President Trump is taking it to a much higher level.
Oh yeah.
He sees a different future for that piece of land that has been the focus of so much terrorism, so many attacks against us, so many trials and so many tribulations. He has a different idea.
Wow.
And I think it's worth paying attention to this. We're talking about it. He's exploring it.
Dude, Trump said ownership, you guys, over Gaza.
It's something that could change history.
Whoa.
And it's worthwhile really pursuing.
Whoa.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Rebuilding Gaza again, obviously it'll take all the hostages, and one of them is Don Alexander, an American soldier who is alive. How will you be assured that you will take out all the hostages and then rebuild?
We're working very hard to get all the hostages. The word is all, and we are working very hard. So far, it's been moving along.
I don't know what to make of this yet, guys.
Pretty much on schedule.
I gotta reflect on this tonight.
All out at one time, but we're taking them out, and tomorrow more are being released. And
Palestinians aren't going to like it.
We're going to a phase 2.
Damn.
But we'd like to get all of the hostages, and if we don't, it will just.
Trump's taking over Gaza. That's basically what he said, Randy.
Violent. I will tell you that, because they would have broken their word. Mr. Witkoff and his
freaking nuts,
group
dude.
Have been working 24.
If people are just joining us right now, you came at a really interesting time, because Donald Trump just said he's basically going to take ownership of Gaza.
Hours around the clock, and they want them out, and promises have been made to them, and we'll see whether or not those promises will be kept. But we want all the hostages. That's right.
How much time do you think it will take?
Do you support, Mr. President, do you support Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, areas which many believe is the biblical homeland of the Jewish people?
Well, we're discussing that with many of your representatives. You're represented very well, and people do like the idea, but we haven't taken a position on it yet. But we will be we'll be making an announcement probably on that very specific topic over the next 4 weeks. Go ahead, please. Please.
You just said that you think all the Palestinians should be relocated to other countries. Does that mean that you do not support a two-state solution?
Oh, shit.
It doesn't mean anything about a two-state or one state or any other state. It means that we want to have, we want to give people a chance at life. They have never had a chance at life, because the Gaza Strip has been a hellhole for people living there. It's been horrible. Hamas has made it so bad, so dangerous, so unfair to people. And by doing what I'm recommending that we do, it's a very strong recommendation, but it is a strong recommendation. By doing that, we think we're going to bring perhaps great peace to long beyond this area. And
shit, dude.
I have to stress, this is not for Israel. This is for everybody in the Middle East, Arabs.
I don't think people are fully aware of how much this is the news cycle for the rest of the week. You are hearing right now, everybody's going to be talking about this. Donald Trump is talking about displacing every single Palestinian out of Gaza and putting them in other countries. And then taking ownership of it. This is, yeah, I will be processing this. I don't even know if I can give a hot take yet.
Muslims, this is for everybody. This would be where they can partake in terms of jobs and living and all of the other benefits. And I think it's very important. It just doesn't work the other way. You know, you can't keep trying. They just has been going along for so many decades, you can't even count. You just can't keep doing. You have to learn from history. You can't keep doing the same mistake over and over again. Gaza is a hellhole right now. It was before the bombing started, frankly. And we're going to give people a chance to live in a beautiful community that's safe and secure. And I think you're going to see...
Are already seeing Palestinian people protesting outside. Just a heads up. Oh, they're pissed. You're about... oh, man. You're about... college campuses are going to erupt. I mean, you guys are about to see some crazy shit.
One of the leaders comes out. You know what he says? We're going to do October 7th again, except we'll do it bigger. So obviously, you can't talk about peace neither with Hamas or in the Middle East if this, toxic, murderous organization is left standing. Any more than you could make peace in Europe after World War II if the Nazi regime was left standing and the Nazi army was left standing. You want a different future? You got to knock out the people who want to destroy you and destroy peace. That's what we're going to do.
Wow.
I think that will also bring, usher in, actually, the peace with Saudi Arabia and with others. And I think there will be others, too.
Yes, ma'am.
What a news conference, dude.
high expectation from you. Do you have any plan to change Afghanistan situation? Are you able to recognize Taliban? Because I'm an Afghan journalist, Afghan suffrage woman. Any comment about Afghanistan? What's your future plan for Afghan people, especially Afghanistan?
I have a little hard time understanding you. Where are you from? Oh. Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying. But I just say this, good luck. Live in peace. Go ahead, please. That's okay, yeah, please.
You said earlier today that it was tough for you to implement these sanctions on Iran, but you did indicate that you were willing to negotiate with them. What would that look like, and are you in conversations with them? And the same for the Prime Minister, sir.
I hated doing it. I want Iran to be peaceful and successful. I hated doing it. I did it once before, and we brought them down to a level where they were unable to give any money. They had to survive themselves, and they had no money. They were essentially broke, and they had no money for, as I said, Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for any form of terror. The 28, if you call it, the 28 sites of terror. They had no money for any of it. They had to do their own and focus on their own well-being. And I hated to do it then, and I hate to do it just as much now. And I say this, and I say this to Iran, who's listening very intently. I would love to be able to make a great deal, a deal where you can get on with your lives and you'll do wonderfully. You'll do wonderfully. Incredible people, industrious, beautiful, just an unbelievable group of people in Iran. And I know them well. I have many friends from Iran.
The government's what sucks over there.
That are Americans from Iran, and they're very proud of Iran. But I hated to do it, just so you understand. And I hope we're going to be able to do something so that it doesn't end up in a very catastrophic situation. I don't want to see that happen. I really want to see peace, and I hope that we're able to do that. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. I'm not putting restrictions. They cannot have one thing. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And if I think that they will have a nuclear weapon, despite what I just said, I think that's going to be very unfortunate for them. If, on the other hand, they can convince us that they won't, and I hope they can. It's very easy to do. It's actually very easy to do. I think they're going to have an unbelievable future. Yeah, please, sir, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. You just laid out your plan for Gaza.
Yes.
Can you lay out your plan for Ukraine and also...
For Ukraine?
For Ukraine, yes.
It's astonishing that they're asking questions about Afghanistan, Ukraine, all the others. Is this like going over people's heads? Donald Trump just said he's going to take ownership of Gaza and kick out all the Palestinians that live there and push them to the surrounding countries. And they're going, okay, well, what about Afghanistan? What about Ukraine? Oh, this is, it's insane news. Holy shit. I thought it'd be okay. Let's do a press conference. This will be fun. It's like, oh my God.
You consider yourself a strong leader. You blamed your predecessor for letting Russia to take over Ukraine. Will you demand from Putin to get out of Ukraine, from sovereign territory of Ukraine?
So we're dealing right now in the subject. I don't want to spend a lot of time because we're here for another reason, but we are having very good talks, very constructive talks on Ukraine. And we are talking to the Russians. We're talking to the Ukrainian leadership. It would have never happened. That would have never happened. It should have never happened. I get reports every week. The number of soldiers, mostly soldiers now, the cities have been largely demolished. You talk about a very sad sight to see. We talk Gaza. Well, many of these cities look as bad as Gaza and worse, what's happened to them. And I want to see that end, and I want to see it end for one simple reason: the life of young people being absolutely obliterated on both sides. You probably have 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers dead, 800,000, maybe more Russian soldiers
So many
dead.
people.
It's very flat land, and the only thing that's going to stop a bullet is a human body. In this case, usually soldiers. And the numbers are staggering when you hear the real numbers in Ukraine, what the numbers are. And this doesn't include the cities that have been demolished and all of the people that were killed. So I want to see it stopped. We're having very good talks, and I think we're going to get it. I think something will be hopefully dramatically, it will rise above everything. You can't let this continue. This is an absolute slaughter that's taking place on the beautiful farmlands of Ukraine, and we have to stop it. We can't let this continue. It is a human tragedy, and we're going to try very hard to stop it. Yeah, please, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Okay. Mr. President, what's your view about Palestinian leader Abbas' role in all the regional changes you want to do? And a question for the Prime Minister, what's your view on President Trump wanting to reach a deal with Iran and not a much more active military stance towards it?
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
I think the president just said something that I think is the pivot of everything that we're talking about. He said Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And we fully agree with that.
Yeah, because you'd be gone.
By a maximum pressure campaign.
He better agree with that. I don't think people... Look, whether you like Israel or not, if an enemy like Iran gets a nuclear warhead, what do you think happens to Israel? They're gone. That's why they can't have it. It's easy. That's just is what it is.
But I think the most important thing is to focus on the goal, which the president just did, and I fully agree with it.
Well, I said it, and he said it very well. It's a campaign of pressure to see if we can get something done. He doesn't want to do what some people think will automatically happen because they're very difficult people to deal with, as you know. But if we could solve this problem without warfare, without all of the things that you've been witnessing over the last number of years, it would be, I think it would be a tremendous thing. Go ahead, please.
Do you have any plans to visit Israel soon?
To visit where?
Israel and Gaza.
Oh, well, I love Israel. I will visit there, and I'll visit Gaza, and I'll visit Saudi Arabia, and I'll visit other places all over the Middle East. The Middle East is an incredible place, so vibrant, so it's just one of the really beautiful places, and with great people. And I think a lot of bad leadership has taken place in the Middle East that's allowed this to happen. It's just terrible. And that includes on the American side, by the way. We should have never gone in there a long time ago, spent trillions of dollars and created so much death. So that includes Americans. But, yeah, I'll be visiting a lot of different places in the Middle East. I've been invited everywhere, but I will be visiting some, yeah. Okay. Let's go. Caitlin, go ahead. Caitlin.
Thank you so much, President Trump.
Caitlin,
go
ahead.
On what you were saying there.
Say it. Go ahead, please.
Just to follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should go permanently after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision the world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has, just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent. But more importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation because they're living in hell. And those people will now be able to live in peace. We'll make sure that it's done world class. It'll be wonderful for the people. Palestinians mostly we're talking about. And I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done, and people can live in harmony and in peace. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. Yo. Wow. I mean, I was not expecting that to happen coming into this. Okay, let's rendezvous here, folks. We're not going anywhere. How could we? Donald Trump just dropped a bombshell, and United States is taking control of Gaza. Just like that. Who's going to stop him? So we'll have to see, Patriots. What are your thoughts in the chat here? It wasn't on my bingo card, I'll say that. Here's the problem. You kind of got it at the end there. Trump's going to have to work with these surrounding countries to displace millions of people and allow the surrounding nations to take in those people. Here's the problem. They don't want it. If you don't know who the terrorists are, that's the problem, right? They're embedded within the Palestinian people. And I'm not saying all Palestinians are terrorists. That's an insane thing to say. They need peace. They need prosperity. But Trump also isn't wrong at the same time of saying, look, you've been given billions of dollars to basically build up a neighborhood and you can't do it. Something needs to change here. Something needs to give. And is this the answer? I don't know. You're saying to displace people from a place of which they say is their home and to offload them in a country that doesn't want them. I don't know how this is going to work, folks. Egypt don't want anyone. Well, neither does Jordan. Neither does Saudi Arabia. That should also kind of perk up your antennas going, why don't all these other nations want the Palestinian people? It's an odd thing, right? It's a weird thing. We will see what comes of this. That is the You would have to put boots on the ground, right? Donald Trump would, I mean, if you're going to rebuild it, right? If you're going to claim ownership over it, which is fuck, you'd have to go in and put the military boots on the ground to rebuild it. You got CNN already coming out. I mean, they caught on real quick, right? I mean, they are really quick with it. This is what CNN is currently showing. Let me make sure I can get rid of the ad that's up at the top for all of you. This is what CNN is posting right now. Trump says Palestinians should leave Gaza permanently and U.S. will take over the Strip. You're about to see a massive protests happening across the nation, folks. You missed a lot, Q. You missed a lot. You're seeing it. Donald Trump, just in a press conference, says, we're going to take ownership of Gaza. We're going to displace all the Palestinians. Holy shit. That is a nervous laugh, by the way. Well, President Donald Trump, we might as well get into the nitty gritty here. I guess that's not going to work because CNN can't figure out their own website. President Donald Trump said Tuesday the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. He did say that after saying earlier that he doesn't think there's a permanent future for Palestinians in Gaza. That part is not true. We just heard it. So you're seeing in the same sentence, they've already fabricated something. He said that he didn't want to seem cutesy and that the Gaza Strip could basically be I don't mean to be cute either, but a vacation hub. And Palestinians could live there as well. Everybody can live there. It's going to be a place for everybody. And the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and we will do a job with it too. Trump is licking his chops right now, right? As a real estate developer, he's going, beachfront property, Gaza right there, beautiful land, beautiful people. I I mean, half of Gaza has been bulldozed, right? The thing is just, it's a parking lot. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site, and get rid of the destroyed buildings. You guys, my jaw dropped. I would love actually somebody to almost clip that for me. My jaw hit the floor when I heard him say this. How in the world can we do that? I don't know. I'm right here with you guys. You think I came into this knowing that this dude was about to drop that? Fuck. I'm speechless. I don't know how we can do that. I don't know, you guys. I got a lot of research to do tonight, looks like, because this is the show tomorrow. You are looking at it. How this is I can't even talk. Well, let's keep going here. As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece, that we're going to develop it. Now, there is a development point to this, but also, I mean, to be quite honest, I'm not picking sides right now. I just want to be clear on that. I'm more or less just mulling some things over, we'll say. Israel has always been looked at basically as an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Middle East for us. This is just another way to not only create peace in the Middle East, but honestly using the strong arm of the United States to create peace by force, where you have an area that most likely is going to be utilized to keep boots on the ground. And I think somebody said it perfectly. You claim that as U.S. and have United States there, you start attacking Gaza, you got a massive bleep storm on your hand. Tomorrow morning show is already done. Lots of research and reflection on what just happened. Yeah, I thought somebody said it perfectly, and forgive me, I don't remember who said it. They said, I said, they don't even, the reporters weren't asking questions about it because I'm sure they were just bewildered. I don't think anybody saw this coming. I really don't. Shameful actions, former military. This is such a shameful action. Well, I think it's a little bit too preemptive to say it's a shameful action. No action has actually taken place. A lot of it's just words as of right now. We will see what actually happens. At the end of the day, look, I mean, I tend to be pro-Israel. I am not for children being bombed or any of that. And I was getting teary-eyed just when he was talking about the massive amount of people that were killed with Ukraine and Russia. Because it's young men mostly that are having to go out and fight these wars, guys my age. And I think about not coming home to my wife, or I think about having to be in the trenches. I mean, that's god awful, just god awful. And it's easy for us, right? I mean, I should say for all of us, but it's easy for me to be with the camera and microphone in here and talking in an air-conditioned building in the United States. It's easy for me to say all these things. But people are going through a really, really just god awful, terrible situation all around the globe, but obviously even Gaza too. I mean, you're talking about displacing people that they believe is their home. And that's going to come with some big consequences and major pushback. Now, I could be wrong. I don't see Donald Trump making this type of claim and move without necessarily talking with the surrounding countries. I could totally be wrong. Where am I getting this from, and why would I say such a thing? From reading not just Kayleigh McEnany's book, but also Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Nikki Haley's books, all people that worked around Trump. A lot of time it seems like this is reactionary from Trump, kind of like the Rocket Man thing with North Korea. But when you read these books and get to know more behind the scenes of Donald Trump, he tends to talk about a lot of this stuff before he ever does it, and he gets a lot of people's opinions on it. This, my guess, is something that may or may not have occurred in some way, shape, or form or was maybe even being discussed in his first administration. And I think also what might have taken place was, well, I know this took place. He brought video, meaning Benjamin Netanyahu, of what actually took place during October 7th. And I think that was Donald Trump saying, look, I've had enough. We're just going to take over the place. If you guys can't get your shit together, we'll get it together for you. And I think a lot of people were putting the FAFO in the chat. Whether you agree with it or not, I think that is what's happening here, is going, we've spent since the 40s dealing with this shit. You guys don't want to figure it out. We'll figure it out for you. And being a strong arm on it. This could be one of those things that you look back in history and say, this is a god-awful idea. Or people might look back and go, there's peace in the Middle East. This was one of the greatest things that's ever happened. I don't have the answer, and I'm not for or against as of right now. I got to really mull this over. I don't know. So you have this coming out. Arab nations reject Trump's call to relocate Gazans to neighboring countries. I mean, it is really weird to me that they wouldn't even be willing to. They weren't willing to take them in before, and that's why I don't know. It could just be all words right now, folks. That's a bombshell, though. I don't know what you do with. You're talking millions of people, right? So a key group of Arab nations have said they firmly reject any efforts to resettle or evict Palestinians from Gaza after U.S. President Donald Trump said he wanted to clean out the enclave and move its population to neighboring countries. The foreign ministers of Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Egypt issued a wide-ranging statement Saturday saying they hope to work with Trump on a two-state solution in the Middle East. I don't know about that. But they pushed back on Trump's suggestion to relocate Palestinians from Gaza without specifically reinforcing the president's proposal. The ministers reiterated a commitment to rebuilding the enclave while ensuring the continued presence of Palestinians in their homeland. Now, let's propose an idea here. You don't get the backing of the surrounding. You have to have the backing of the surrounding countries. That's the only way this is, in terms of removing the Palestinians, the only way it's going to work. And we're not talking about we're in favor or not in favor. I'm just talking out loud of how this would work. Okay, I want to be clear on that. I'm not saying, oh, I'm for this shit, let's do it. You have to have the surrounding areas, meaning if they don't, then what would presume to take place if Trump really wants to take ownership of it is bringing in the United States military and then just literally taking it and rebuilding it and saying, well, if we're going to put our taxpayer money into rebuilding your entire so-called country, well, that's ours. Or I guess get the buckets and ocean water yourself and start mixing dirt and rebuilding it. I guess. I don't know. Now, here's the thing. There's a bigger conversation here. Do we, as a country, and again, I don't have the answer to this, do we as a country, along with Israel, owe it to the people of Palestinian, Gaza Strip, whatever you want to call it, do we owe it to them to rebuild what was blown up? Let me know in the chat. Again, the question is that do we have a responsibility as somebody that gave arms and munitions that Israel used to basically obliterate the Gaza Strip, or at least half of it or more? Do we have a responsibility to help them rebuild it? I bring that up because when we just completely bombed the crap in Europe during World War II, we helped the Germans and many surrounding areas rebuild. We used a lot of our money for that, which is one of the conditions of us having land still to this day, where we got military personnel all around the globe because of those military interactions. So that's why I raise it. I'm not giving an answer. It's just merely a question. Some say no, we have too many problems here. We don't need to spend money in other places. Okay. Waiting on those over at YouTube, or ScrewTube is what we're calling it. I mean, talk about just breaking news, though. This is... I mean, it's a good question still, and something that does need to be addressed, right? Is if you're going to basically bulldoze. So, okay, let's say it's not us then, like Drags in here and Pat and others. If it's not us that's going to end up paying for this, do you think then, let's shift it away from us then, do you think Israel should be responsible for paying for the restructure of the Gaza Strip if they're the ones that bulldozed it. I know they started it. Look, I'm not picking. I'm just merely. We're just hypothesizing here, folks. We're just having a conversation. Nobody's picking sides or nothing. It's getting a little contentious in here, but it's just a question proposed. I don't have the answers. I'm just merely questioning. Just unbelievable news here, though. I'm trying to wait for X to react here. I mean, that has to be trending. Let's go. Let's see what's going on with Fox here. Trump says U.S. will take over Gaza. Like I said, big news. If you're just joining us, I mean, we might as well leave that up there. Level it. Trump says U.S. will take over Gaza Strip and rebuild it to stabilize Middle East. I mean, I don't think a two-state solution would work. I really don't. Yeah, playing devil's advocate. That's all we're doing here. We rebuilt after Germany surrendered. Gaza will not surrender. Yeah, it's I don't think they'll surrender either. I'm right there with you. I don't think they would go willingly. So I don't know Trump's plan on this. But Trump's also not an idiot. So he has something going on that we don't know about. The only thing I think of, I mean, if he's gonna just really drop his balls, he's sending in troops. That's the only thing that makes sense. There's no way else of taking it over. I mean, when you say take over, it's just like we're taking it from you. I don't know, man. I don't know how he's going to do it. Pac Mama says, I don't think we have a responsibility, but if we want stakes in future area, then of course we will. And don't you hear Trump? That's farmland, premium farmland. Who knew? I think Trump's looking at it more as a resort, a vacation spot, beachfront property. But either way, right? If he's going to bulldoze it and build it, then that is where our tax money's going. I would imagine Israel would have a stake in helping rebuild it. I mean, it's huge. This is a huge thing for Israel, by the way. Oh, the Israelis have to be popping off right now after having a president of the United States say what Trump said. The Israelis are probably on their hands and knees building shrines of Donald Trump. I think Pac Mama brings up a great point. What about is the Panama Canal next? Well, they have to be shitting their pants, right? This could just be a lot of talk. It could also be this. Trump, again, I have to, people think this guy is stupid. I don't know why. Trump is playing like 40 chess here. He might not even have the intention of taking it over. This could be a chip, a move that we just don't see yet. And this is why we're all kind of pondering this, right? It's just something that he sees that we don't yet of, yeah, I'm going to go in and take it over without actually having the intention to do it. That also could be taking place here. No intention to actually go in, boots on the ground. This just could be a fear tactic saying, you don't get your crap together, fine, we'll just take it over, with the Palestinians coming in going, hey, we'll make concessions. Hold on a second. We'll make concessions here. The art of the deal, exactly. I think there's something bigger going on. I think this is to make people crap their pants and for them to cave on something that they're not willing to cave in. And by the way, that could be propping up a government within Gaza that's maybe headed by somebody else. And the reason why I bring that up is Trump mentioned that. He goes, well, we need other countries' involvement in all of this. Maybe he doesn't actually really want to take it over. Again, and that would follow with what Trump actually tends to want to do, right? Is he tends to want to be more of a, what's the term I'm looking for? Why am I blanking right now? It's been a long day. Where he doesn't want to be engaged with utilizing the military and putting boots on the ground. He's more of a reserved. Give the press a talking point besides Elon, maybe. I don't think that would be it though, Emmy. That's a big talk. Dude, this is a big thing to say. You don't just unzip your pants and start throwing your thing around, you know? Like that's This is a big statement. I'm a big supporter of Trump, and my jaw dropped. Like, if you put this on my 2025 bingo card, I would say I would be laughing at you. I'm fumbling through my words because I got to process this. I don't even know what the hell to say, and I'm freaking on camera right now. Lovely. Yeah, that diplomat's not the word I'm looking for. No, there's a word for it. I'm just blanking. I've been up since 4 in the morning, 4:30. It's where you don't want to engage in warfare. Isolationist. There you go. God, I couldn't even think about it, but I got it. Isolationist. He's an isolationist. He doesn't want war. I mean, he's talking about having peace, right? That it's counterintuitive. You say you want peace, and then, well, we're storming the beaches of Gaza, boys. We're bringing it in. So like I said, there's something going on that we don't know. There's a missing puzzle piece, which is why it's not making sense to us. Or Trump's just going full blown, just doing what he's doing. And I still can't believe this is not trending on X right now. Bonkers. Okay, let's see what else is going on in here in the news. Let me see if I could tap in to not PBS, Fox News Live here. Let me see. I think I'm allowed to do that. Here we go.
Back out live, we do have this picture there on the Senate floor.
That's for Pam Bondi.
So you can see there.
I think she got approved, right? Let me see. Yeah, Pam Bondi's in.
Right, so we are seeing
she's confirmed.
Reports of her confirmed. My producer's getting these.
She is confirmed. 54 to 46.
But in the meantime, I just want to put up these names that you have here of the now cabinet that is slowly coming together for President Trump. Of course, you know, Rubio unanimously confirmed as Secretary of State, then John Ratcliffe at CIA, then Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon, then Kristi Noem.
So we'll leave that running kind of in the background. I thought they'd be all over this Gaza thing. I mean, they have it up there, joint news conference, but I think everybody's just shocked, like you guys are saying. And as I mentioned, Pam Bondi did in fact get approved. So that's good. Now we just need RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, and Kash Patel. So good for Pam. She deserves it. She deserves it. You have this from Rapid Response coming in. Let's check this out.
On this. Sure. The Middle East, he changed the Middle East in his first term. The Abraham Accords, peace with Israel and a number of its Arab neighbors. Moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which we were told was going to start a war and all these things. It did not. Iran now seems to be on its heels, not because of the Biden administration's policies, but despite of it. There's, I think, a lot of appetite, especially in the United States, to say the way we've been dealing with the Palestinians for the past 50 years by both Republicans and Democrats hasn't worked. Why not give something new a try? And I think you got to give...
Yo. Shit. You could get by saying that stuff on News Nation, right? This last bit, right? Just listen to this guy.
50 years by both Republicans and Democrats hasn't worked. Why not give something new a try?
God. That's not going to age well for that guy, unfortunately. The reason why I say that is you're talking about displacing millions of people. And like we keep saying, you have to have the surrounding areas on board of that. You can't just say something and not have a full-blown plan. Goodness, man. That's insane. Outdoor Living says it's hard to say because this is out of left field, although he has been saying he'd bring peace to the Middle East. So he might have been having many talks, must have been. Yeah. Like I said, let me see if we can get some news here on what is. I've heard there's protests going on outside the White House already. We'll see. The other thing I want to bring about here, let me see if I can get this for all of you. I did send it to myself. 1 second. Is a remark from Donald Trump. And I thought I sent it to myself. I guess I didn't, or it's updating. But Donald Trump, this will definitely be in tomorrow's morning show. If Iran attempts to assassinate, they'll get obliterated.
That would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they
I believe him.
Able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why. Lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader, or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran.
You want to know how disgusting, though, Americans are? There'll be a lot of Americans that are actually happy that a foreign country assassinated Donald Trump. That's how sick these Democrats are. And I would not want that for Joe. I don't like Joe Biden. I think he was I think he was the worst president, which is a remarkable thing because before it was Barack Obama was the worst president. Now Joe Biden is. I would not wish any ill will on either of those men. I don't like them. Terrible policy, drove this country into the ground, led to millions of people dying. Don't like them. Still don't wish for the death of them at all. You cannot say the same thing for Democrats. Democrats would love to see something terrible happen to Donald Trump. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so they would be praising and walking the streets in acceptance of Iran if Iran ever did anything. And if they ever touched Donald Trump, I'll say it right now, they'll cause death threats. I'll get death threats for saying this, just a heads up. I'm okay with the bombs dropping on whoever touches or puts a finger on Donald Trump. The Capitol, gone. Dust. I don't want rubble. I want dust if that ever happens. So, they want to F around and find out. It's not the place to do it. Don't mess with Daddy Trump. So everybody keeps talking about Pam Bondi right now. Like, yo, like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Trump I'm taking over Gaza. It's just expected now. Jeez, dude. This is crazy. Just unbelievableness. I keep wanting to see what CNN keeps posting, but this is all they got so far. White House is drafting order to initiate Department of Education's elimination. We don't need the Department of Education. You're talking to somebody that's in education. You absolutely 100% don't need this. You'll be saving a lot of money. A lot of money. Sometimes it doesn't show if I click on CNN. Let's see. Let's see if it does it. Oh, come on. Now we got to listen to this. Usually CNN starts blocking me if I try to show any of their stuff. Bunch of babies. Hit that like button, folks, if you're in here. We got a lot of people joining us, which is always fun. YouTube's been suppressing us like none other. Here we go.
That happened just moments before this vote took place. He said he had very intense conversations with the White House this weekend and with Bobby Kennedy Jr. He said he spoke to J.D. Vance as well. He said he had received serious commitments from the administration and the opportunity to, quote, make progress on the issues we agree on, like healthy foods and a pro-America agenda. No mention in that statement about vaccines. No mention about how those concerns that he expressed last week changed. But this vote decisive, sending this to the Senate floor, and now it'll be up to the full Senate to decide what to do.
16 carriages.
Wow, crazy. Like even Trump supporters are going, how does he do it? Oh, this is talking about the lady with the voice. Holy lordy. Well, let's see what's going on else in the news here. Let's see if we could tap into a little bit of Fox News just for a little bit, because I'm going to get flagged, which is remarkable. I don't know if you guys remember that. I got flagged by Fox. Well, YouTube got rid of our stream. And then while I'm watching our stream get taken down, I'm seeing Benny Johnson streaming Fox News completely fine. So why is it that he gets to stream Fox News? I don't think he has a contract, and I don't.
The government were to say, renege on this offer, employees would be, quote, entitled request a rescission of his or her resignation here. So that's really, really interesting. So this memo is leaving open the door for the U.S. government, to tell these federal workers, a federal worker, that, no, you got to stay in your job.
It is, and I think that just sort of adds to the confusion which with this has been rolled out. Of course, it was first leaked to the media. Then we got formal confirmation from the White House and from OPM. And if you look forward to where the federal workforce needs to be come the spring, when a potential government shutdown could be happening if Republicans in Congress can't get their act together and agree on a vehicle to advance those spending policies, this could be a major disaster in Trump's face. Because again, this DRP was put forth as sort of an olive branch because Donald Trump wants to shrink the federal bureaucracy, cut federal spending, but at the same time, he's trying to do it in a way where it won't leave all of these hundreds of thousands, if not millions of workers in a lurch without a job. That's certainly not going to be good for his approval
This guy
rating,
got
and
it.
that's one of the metrics that Donald Trump cares about the most.
Have you spoken to any federal workers? I'm just kind of curious. I mean, there's so many of them about how this is kind of going down, how
This is
being
true.
Received.
I've spoken
Thank
to
you,
some
Lulu.
who
They do need to
plan
stop
on
picking on
taking
me.
That offer. I have spoken.
Mute that for a second. He's part of the Ben Shapiro fam now. Like, I can only imagine the liberals' heads as they are exploding right now after President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu press conference and his desire to take over the Gaza Strip. Oh yeah, they're spazzing right now. How can he do it? How can he say that? Holy shit. I can't believe what I'm witnessing. It feels surreal. I think that's how we all felt as we listened to it as well. Trump and Netanyahu together, the U.S. taking over Gaza, a promise to destroy Hamas and really co-locate Gazans, heavy sanctions on Iran, unwarranted funding, possible annexation of Judea and Samaria, dream come true. I said the Jews are going to be celebrating tonight. They might actually start eating bacon. They're going to be so happy they're eating bacon in the streets. Wow. Let's see what this guy had to say.
Well, I think Jordan and Egypt will, I know they've spoken about it with you, and they say they're not going to accept. I say they will. But I think other countries will accept also. I think that Gaza maybe is a demolition site right now. If you look at Gaza, there's hardly a building standing, and the ones that are going to collapse. You can't live in Gaza right now, and I think we need...
So it says here, mark my words, if America does not extinguish the parasite that is Israel, Israel will one day destroy America, just as they have Gaza. That's an insane statement that dude just made. That's wild. Here's the protest already happening. Gaza's not for sale. I told you. That was fast.
Donald Trump stated the following: the United States will...
By the way, this is the same thing that Hamas swears, just a heads up. Actual terrorists that beheaded people, tried to kill people with freaking gardening tools, raped women and children. They wore that same thing. I have a problem with both sides, to be quite honest, Israel and the Palestinian people. The problem I have with the Palestinian people is they do support terrorism. The other side of it that I don't like is Israel, and I think Israel could be a little bit more careful on their bombing.
take over the Gaza Strip. Let's make one thing loud and clear to Donald Trump, to Netanyahu, and to the Zionist entity: Gaza is not for sale. Palestine is not for sale.
I don't think Trump was planning on buying it. I think he was just planning on going and taking it from you. Like, what the fuck? Again, I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just bringing up the fact that they really think that he's going to, how much you want for it? Like, what is he going to be paying for dirt? Like, come on.
Gaza is not for sale. Palestine is not for sale.
Now, I would have a lot more respect for both sides, to be honest. again, I'm an American. I got no skin in the game, okay? I don't even live over there. Just merely having conversation. I would have more respect, because I guarantee you, if I was to walk up to any one of these people, put my life savings on it, and say, is Hamas a terrorist organization? I guarantee you almost everybody in this crowd, there might be one or two, will not admit to that. That is, and the reason why I say that, I've watched hours, both mostly off camera, hours of Palestinians being interviewed, and they won't admit it. And it's a weird thing. We've always talked about this, right? Because I want to learn from both sides. I want to see kind of what's been going on. A lot of stuff has been happening over the course of decades. And I want to use the opportunity to try to hear from both sides. What I've at least found from the Palestinian side is they are not, or they are walking this fine line of supporting Hamas. It's a very weird thing. Very weird thing. At least that's what I've seen. So that was quick. Oh my God. That was fast. Oh, the internet. Texas Patriot, I don't want the Gaza Strip. Am I the only one? Well, I think it depends on what lens you're looking at it. If you're one of those people that is for like national security and keeping America safe, I mean, it's not a bad area. And again, I'm not saying I want it. I want to be clear on that. I don't even know what the hell I want. I just going over the news here. But it is basically gives you U.S. territory right there and control in some aspect of the Middle East right there. I mean, beachfront property. Very true. I always said Jordan equals Palestine. Let Palestinians move to Jordan. Gaza, problem solved. That's going to be a key player. Right there, I think a key player, Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, all those countries. If that were to take place, we shall see. Just in, President Trump says Gaza Strip will become the Riviera of the Middle East. Man, talk about just, let's go to latest here. The Trump Strip, yeah, Trump turns the Gaza Strip into like Las Vegas, basically. Can you just... Again, I'm not trying to be cutesy or funny. Can you imagine, though, if it was turned into like Abu Dhabi, basically? Like this is in like 30, 40 years, and you telling like your grandkids, this place was ran by terrorists and like was just dirt. And like, really? There's grass and water fountains, freaking people breathing fire and all this great stuff. They wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe it. So don't you think that our help will help Gaza? Israel and Gaza, nothing to do with America. 25th Amendment now, by his words regarding Gaza, Trump is destabilizing the United States. Oh, God, okay. Look at the name, right? Cheeto, not mashing. It's interesting. Like, people are so crazy, man. They start spazzing out. American soldiers should refuse any assignment to occupy Gaza. This is what happens. They just come out and they just start saying weird shit. At least I have the wherewithal to go, yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't made an opinion on it. It seems like a pretty insane thing to say, but I'm assuming there's some sort of caveat to all this. Where is this protest? I know there's a protest allegedly happening outside the White House. I don't know where else all this is taking place. Grandma taking over Gaza, I think that would be an interesting proposal. We'll see what our Arab friends say about that. I think most South Carolinians would probably not be excited about sending Americans to take over Gaza. It might be problematic. I think there's truth to what Mark is saying here. I don't know this guy, but I think there's some truth to that. If Trump steals Gaza for his real estate Riviera and ethnic cleansing, he deserves whatever response. That's insane. That's bonkers. Hezbollah and other Middle East countries do in response. Americans support the Palestinian people. And I think, quite frankly, I think actually Donald Trump does support the Palestinian people as well, based on his words. He keeps saying, hey, I just want them to live in peace and prosperity. I want them to have a good chance at life. And they're not getting it where they're at. And what's the evidence of that? I mean, look at the decades upon decades of just nothing being prosperous coming out of Gaza. I mean, they're not solving cancer. They're not creating technologies. And you could say, oh, well, Israel's the blame for all of it. Not everything. So I would only love to see the Palestinian people succeed. I've said it time. It's the same with the Iranians. I don't like the Iranian government. I think they're trash, but the Iranian people are great. And you kind of heard Donald Trump echo that. There's a difference between the government and the Iranian people in the same way there's a difference between the government and the American people. I just want people to get along and have a freaking good life. And for some ungodly reason, we can't get that because there's evil around the world. And most of that evil has to do with the terrorism. Looks like Laura Loomer is hosting a chat right now. And Caitlin Sinclair. So why don't we jump over to Caitlin? Oh, no, they're holding a whole thing there. I can't get involved in that. America First could care less about anywhere else. Yeah, I think there's truth to that, Devil. Absolutely. Absolutely. The something are and have always been terrorists. Their extermination as a people would do much good to bring peace. That's a really rough statement, Dave. Got to be honest with you. I don't want to see the extermination of any people, man, unless you're terrorists. And maybe that's what you're talking about, is just terrorists. I just, like I said, my thing is I would just love for people to get along. That's obviously wishful thinking. But we'll see. So let's go back to this. Maybe Palestine's trending? No. I'm trying to actually see if Ben Shapiro comes out of the woodwork. So I'd really be fascinated to see what he has to say, because his jaw had to hit the floor unless he knew something about this before everybody else did. Lunatics, Brad, they have hive mind and blinders on. Yeah. It's kind of sad to see, though. This, like, that. Again, I've said insane things. I think we all have, right? We all have. But I try my best to limit the insane things I say online. I usually try to say what I would like to think, it's not always the case, to be common sense or things that everybody can get behind. For example, hey, let's not keep criminals who are raping and murdering our children in our country that are here illegally. You would think that's something that most people can get behind, but as you're finding, that ain't the case. Or, hey, let's not murder people. You would think that's something a lot of people can get behind, but, you know. So if you're just joining us, Donald Trump says he's going to take over Gaza. And by the way, folks, we're going to try to do a little bit more of these live streams in the evening that are a little bit more loosey-goosey. They're not exactly shows themselves, right? There's no, I don't want to say no effort put into it. Obviously, it takes a lot of effort to work all day, do a morning show, right? Wake up early, do a morning show, work all day, and then come directly home and then kind of work some more. I'm not saying this is hard. I'm just saying it is, somewhat taxing. I would like to do a little bit more of this late at night where we just get to hang out as patriots and go over what the hell's going on here and listen to Donald Trump give us some bonker news. And if you're also new, we do a show, like an actual show, every single morning, weekdays, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also, Rumble has opened up, I might as well, I could show this to you right now. Rumble has opened up opportunities for their new creator program. Very similar, I think, how the partner program works on YouTube. And so I have to meet 30 hours within 30 days. Right now, we would meet 25 of those. 20 of those hours just by doing our normal live show. So I need to stream a little bit more to get those hours in so that I can meet the requirements to get in. And it's something I've been asking for a while. It's something I've been talking to Dylan about behind the scenes for a while now, too. So we want to get into that. We can make more money and grow our audience, grow our patriotic audience. This is bonkers. Let's see if we can get into this a little bit here.
U.S. citizens, and they are calling for an insurrection outside of the White House right now. So I feel like that's more important than hosting the space for the rest of the night. And if it intensifies more, I'll just get back on the space later. But this footage is out of control. I mean, you just have to see these news headlines and then see the distortion for yourself, because they are not talking about the fact that these are anti-Israel protests. Why? Because so many people walked away from the Democrat Party this last election season because they refused to stand up against anti-Semitism and because they refused to condemn and criticize
Let's see if they'll let me
open
speak.
support for Islamic terrorism. So be sure that you're following me on X at Laura Loomer. Be sure that you're following at Loomer Unlimited.
All right. We'll see if we could pop into some other people's stuff here. Caitlin Sinclair's talking about it. Let's hop in there. Let's see what they
There
say.
was a whole debate that the most moral army in the world would never bomb or target a hospital, and then take out every single hospital now, the entire thing, and then right at the end,
Thanks, Raymond. I appreciate that, man.
it's
Thank
a
you.
demolition site when it works in US's favor, in Israel's favor. This is the darkest moment, and this is such a dark moment in history. And America to come in and say, we're going to be the heroes. We want to save the Palestinians after this cover-up job, and everyone and so many people on these spaces saying that none of this was happened, and now it's a complete demolition site.
No,
And
it's
suddenly
not.
there's all these Hamas,
Simon,
there's these Hamas people there anyway.
Simon, it's always like this in any conflict. At the end of the conflict, they will flatten the buildings and then go back to rebuilding. It's normal because of the sheer destruction in northern Gaza. We all knew, we all talked about it, and how much there was.
Yeah, but we've been told all along by people on this stage, that they're just doing precision targets. There's no
doesn't mean
they've been found to be
happening
using
here.
dumb bombs, untargeted bombs, gun bombs.
I mean, Simon, you're connecting two things that are not related to each other here. But James, I want to make a quick comment on something you mentioned multiple times, and I slightly disagree with it. Gaza was rebuilt in part multiple times. Nobody ever made money on that. It's always been aid. It's always been money spent by Gulf governments, by the international community, and by the United States quite a few times. It's
to which contractors? Who those things are free?
No, contractors are not free. But hold on, the Saudis are not going to send contractors from Saudi Arabia to rebuild Gaza while Hamas is there. Are you kidding? No, that's not going to work that way.
Hamas is a label. You know what you're talking about.
No, guys.
Hamas is just a label.
Sorry, we reached a place where if we're gonna go one by one certain discussion between two people, it's okay. But going through the discussion, it's better. Artorias, I wanna say hi to you. Welcome on stage. I wanna just have a small statement by Hamas, and then I'll give you the hand to give your opinion about what's been happening. So Hamas officials have released a statement in response to President Trump's reiteration of his desire to relocate the Gazan population to another country. That was put in Al Jazeera. We considered it a receipt for creating chaos and tension in the region. Our people in the Gaza Strip will not allow these plans to pass. What is required is an end to the occupation and aggression against our people, not their expulsion from the land. Our people in Gaza have thwarted displacement and deportation plans under bombardment for more than 15 months. They are rooted in that land and will not accept any scheme aimed at uprooting them from their homeland. That's a statement from the U.S. from Gaza. Another statement that came out from Hamas in Gaza. Another statement that came from the Saudi Arabia, rejecting completely the displacement of the Palestinians. They said, following Trump remarks that the U.S. should take control of Gaza and Palestinians should live elsewhere, Saudi issues a firm response. Riyadh reiterated its rejection of any attempt to displace the Palestinian and stated it will not establish relationship with Israel without the creation of a Palestinian state. The statement signaled growing regional pushback to Trump's proposal, as Netanyahu calls it, worth pursuing. A final point is Trump saying that he's going to visit Saudi Arabia, he's going to visit Israel in the next couple of months in order to discuss those information.
So James, I think I think this was sorry for joining a little bit late, but I mean I don't know why people are necessarily surprised because candidate Trump, when he was running for election, hinted that this is what he was aiming for and this is what he was kind of the policy that he wanted to pursue.
I don't know about that.
I don't think that really this is necessarily in the sense of breaking news. I mean, it's breaking news, obviously, because of the implication now that the president of the United States has openly advocated this, but he has said this during the campaign that this was kind of the line of thinking that he was going through.
I don't know. I don't know if that's right.
I think the most President Trump's relationship with Netanyahu, it has not only solidified but continue, and they're going to toe the line and continue the line of the thinking of kind of Benjamin Netanyahu, and I think that's the direction that they're going from a political sense. I think obviously from a diplomatic, this is clearly have to be, the United States is in Israel probably the only two countries that will ever agree to this. I don't see in any way where the United Nations Security Council, and to be honest, even if we go back to U.S. domestic politics, I don't see many, specifically in the Democratic side or even the Republican side, wanting to get involved because
some truth to that for sure.
It embroils the United States probably in another conflict and another war in the Middle East. But with that being said, I think this was an interesting thing. So if it's all right, I would like for Hazem to finish his point, and then we can go kind of to a counterpoint and the reactions from the other speakers. So Hazem, please go ahead.
Really not much else to say. I just wanted to make sure nobody is under the illusion that this is a money maker when it comes to rebuilding Gaza with the existing situation. Now, if Trump is thinking about creating resorts and, a little, Paradise Island type of environment there, that's a different story. But again, we have plenty of territory in the U.S. and other places to do that. We have no interest in doing it in the most complex place on earth. Again, I want to go back to my first statement. If you've ever read The Art of the Deal or understand Trump at all, this is a maximum pressure scenario.
That's what we thought.
That does not mean it should not be taken seriously. But this means that now the ball is in the opponent's
That's exactly our take.
And the Palestinian people, Hamas, need to sit and take a hard look into the situation and make better decisions.
He's bringing up the exact take that we said, that there's something more here, that he might be using this as a bargaining chip.
That point directly. So, and I know we have other hands because I know we're right before we jumped in. So I'll let you the opportunity to answer to the points by Hazem. But my question for you, Simon, then it kind of also delves back to one of the main issues that was seen from this idea of a ceasefire to maybe more long term was, what does a post-Hamas Gaza rule look like? And that was kind of the sticking point. Obviously, Hamas didn't look like it's going to relinquish control of Gaza. There was a lot of conversations what that looks like. So by all means, address that point that he made, but also address, where do we see a governing authority after Hamas, and is now a real possibility that it's actually going to be the United States?
Yeah. So firstly, I want to say this is a money-making scheme. It's not real estate. Never has been about real estate. It's that Israel,
you tell this guy's kind of biased,
U.S. foreign policy outpost in order to destabilize the region, in order to prop up the petrodollar and ensure that there is no competing force to the dollar. And so by having an outpost in the Middle East, because Israel has lost its reputation globally, because everyone's now figured out, and I'm not talking about the Israeli people, I'm talking about the Israeli government, which was a creation of intelligence. And now that Israel, the Israeli government has lost its reputation globally, then we've got a new strategy, which is America is saying, all right, well, we'll just take on the illegal occupation and we'll paint it and make it sound very nice to the American people, and a complete betrayal of the MAGA promise of retreating from the Middle East and focusing on America first. But the reality is that
I don't think he said he would
America
retreat.
Outpost, whether it's
I don't think he said that we would retreat from the Middle East. His objective is to create peace in the Middle East. You'd obviously have to be involved in the Middle East to do something like that. So this guy, I think, is trying to. I don't really know what his point is, to be honest.
Hamas is a useful tool for Western intelligence agencies in order to try and associate in the Western mind with organizations like ISIS, which are also, as we know, as you will be all discovering now that the files are coming out with USAID, these are Western funded and trained organizations in order to make the West justify the fake war on terror and the fake war on terror 2.0 that is being done. So Hamas is a label of resistance.
Oh, geez, that's crazy.
Will always continue to grow.
That's crazy.
And so if you want to pretend...
Wow. Talk about diminishing Hamas.
after seeing their wife
Holy crap.
and their,
I told you he's
their,
biased,
their
man.
grandparents
That's insane.
being murdered and put in prison because there's 13,000 Palestinian hostages in Israel. And if you want to call those Hamas because some of them end up putting on some military gear, when the reality is that it keeps growing because it is just a label in order to justify
This
to the
dude,
West
I don't think knows what he's
what is
saying.
actually, what the
That's
actions,
crazy.
the immoral actions of U.S. foreign
Look at all the
policy
hands going
and
up.
Western foreign policy.
Holy crap.
In destabilizing the region. So this post-Hamas leadership is whatever America and Israel cook up, just like they can take an ISIS member and slap a suit on them, just like they can take an ISIS member and slap a suit on them and tell Syria that this is your new leadership, when before he was in Guantanamo Bay.
The dude just completely downplayed Hamas. Like, oh, it's just people that just dress up. Whoa.
In terms of statement that we're getting from the Hill, so outside of the Senate chamber in the Capitol, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania have said that he finds the comments of Donald Trump very provocative, but at the same time, he would be supportive of an occupation of the Gaza Strip because he's seen no development from the Palestinian side to want or be willing to govern themselves. That's coming.
Whoop, my bad. Let's see if I can get that back up for you guys. Oh, I guess I clicked out of it. No. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get that back up for you folks. Get rid of that. We get rid of that. Hold on a second. I had it as a pop out. I don't know why it disappeared on me. Let me refresh it. Let's see if we can get back in there. Unless I got booted from it. Looks like I did. Sinclair. Yeah, looks like we got booted from that. That sucks. Unless it's still open somewhere. Let me see. Let me minimize my stuff. Look what you done, Brad. You're messing with stuff again. Nope. I think we just got booted. Oh, if you're here joining us, hit that like button. It does help us. Ashley Sinclair, pretty sure. Unless, yeah, I don't even see them live anymore. I wonder if I got dropped. Let me exit out of that. Weird. Well, looks like we're going back to the news then. That's fine. Let's see if maybe the news is catching on for once. Live now. Here we go.
One-on-one or from a tariff war perspective, this very much seems like China's trying to calibrate carefully. And I'm interested to see if that conversation between President Xi and President Trump does take place.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate that, man.
To that point, Politico reported today they were speaking with Trump's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, that Trump will speak to Xi
Thank you,
today.
David. That makes sense.
So I haven't seen a readout from the White House about that phone call. I would imagine.
And Dave, thanks for being a sub, man. I appreciate that. David Prince is a sub over at Rumble. Thank you. And so's Dave. I just want to give a shout out to those that are, and there's other people that are subs over at YouTube members. What's going on, Jeff? Boy, Jeff, you missed a hell of a stream there, buddy. Let me tell you, Trump just dropped a nuke, not literally, but metaphorically. Thank you to those that, I'm trying to get more people to shift over to Rumble subscription base, just because YouTube's really just effing us, man. You guys, you really don't understand. I don't show you the behind the scenes analytics. They are really, really suppressing the channel hard. Our first strike will be up in 10 days though. So maybe that will change some things. We'll see. But man, they are just.
This was front and center as part of that conversation. Lydia, as always, can't thank you enough. We'll chat soon.
Thanks for having me.
That's exactly what we're looking at, Jeff.
Here, wanted to make sure we got that conversation. And like I said, there's a lot going on, and we're bringing on these very knowledgeable guests to help you make sense of it. Because, like I said, there's a lot of news, but we're going to cover it all here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, we're at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, We're going out there to the Big Easy. Our colleagues standing by. They're getting ready for Super Bowl 59.
No, nobody. Okay. It's the Chiefs again. Come on. Let me see if I can go to news here. Get you guys something good going on. A lot of people are just talking about this breaking news that Donald Trump wants to take over Gaza. And we'll definitely keep you guys posted on everything here. I think I just got dropped because the call used to be up here, and I think they might have banned me or something. I don't know. But I can't listen in anymore. So I don't know. Unless it's somewhere else and I'm just missing it. Let me see. There's no pop out. I'd love to get back on that call. That was actually a good call. Unless it's something here. We ship a lot of material to China and it's killing business, but I think China will fold under pressure. Yeah, we'll see. Here's more of that protest taking place outside Washington. Do you notice they all have Hamas like garb and covering their faces? It's the oddest thing to me. It's the same thing when you see a bunch of Mexicans flying the Mexican flag all around in protest of deportations. Like, how do you plan on getting people behind you when you're wearing the same stuff that terrorists are wearing, or you're waving a flag that's nothing to do with this country? Doesn't exactly build support. Look at it right there. There's another one. 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 And as I mentioned, I got no skin in the game. I'm just telling you what I've seen from other people. It's very, very, very odd to me that you walk that fine line of supporting a terrorist organization and not. It's really weird. It's all good, Jeff. Just good to see you, man. This is Palestinians, or those that claim to be. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Protesting outside the White House in Washington because Donald Trump says he wants to take over Gaza. So that's kind of the bombshell news that you miss. And I'll bring it up right here. Trump says U.S. will take over Gaza Strip and rebuild it. That was the jaw drop, and all of us kind of in the chat were just like, wasn't ready for that. So that's what I'm going to be mulling over tonight. And I'll try to give you guys my opinion tomorrow morning. If it's something I'm for or against, I really got to think about it. I was not expecting that news. But in other news, Pam Bondi got accepted, so. But I'm going to try to do multiple streams a day there, Jeff. Just so much news, and also we're trying to meet the requirements to get into the Rumble Partner Program. So I'll probably do about a couple more minutes here and then hop off. That'll be about 2 hours. That makes 3 hours today of streaming. So if I do that for 2 weeks, we'll be good. So my question is, who is funding this? All those lights and all those people. Definitely some people are being funded, right? Some people just show up. They come out of the woodworks. They got nothing going on. They got nothing better to do, and are out there protesting. So definitely, you look at George Soros. I wouldn't be surprised if he has his freaking mitts in this a little bit. But yeah, there's definitely people funding this. I wouldn't say everybody there is getting funded, but I think you raise a great point nonetheless, Pat. Dave says, I always wonder where they get all these signs and how they get them so quickly. And I guess that's why Pat followed up with who's funding it. Well, you definitely know it ain't a Republican, conservative, or independent. You're either looking at two options, man. You're looking at Democrats or progressive left. It's one or the other. Well, we definitely know it ain't conservative because we're cheap asses. That's how I know. I ain't going to go. Even if I was to show up one of those, I ain't bringing a sign. You know what I mean? That's how I know it ain't conservative, because I am a conservative. Soros-backed funded, most likely. And Jeff's saying that over at YouTube, most likely. Raymond says, F and hate ScrewTube. Raymond, you got to hop over to Rumble then, my friend. Jason with the $10, dude. Thank you so much. US with a salute. Love you, man. Thank you, Jason, for supporting the show over at Rumble. Rumble's trying to grow, man. They're really doing great things. And I'm glad to be here in their grassroots project and trying to support them the best I can by streaming over there as well. So, look, they've been nothing but good to me, guys. I got to say, they've been, even if they have hiccups and they mess up every now and then, not even saying it's necessarily their fault, they've been really good to us over here, taking good care of us and treating us with kindness. And the customer service with Dylan is just through the roof. You know, matter of fact, I'm going to plug that really quick and just show you guys what we're doing over here. And if you can go over and like it, that'd be really great. So I wanted Dylan to get more recognition because the guy is just good at his job. I say it all the time. I wouldn't be hyping it up if I didn't think so. And so I started this yesterday over at X. If you can give it some love, I'd appreciate, you know, Pat and everybody, Jeff, guys over on X. I said, hey, Chris Pavlowski, this is the CEO of Rumble. I said, I want to let you know, Dylan, which that's Dylan's tag right there. This is our Rumble rep, my Rumble rep, our coordinator here. My Rumble rep is fantastic at his job. I cannot praise him enough for everything he does at Rumble Video. Needs to know that he is doing an amazing job. And I would say give the guy a promotion. I don't say give people promotions lightly. Again, as somebody that's a cheapo, but the guy he's quick. He gets back to you even on the weekends, man. The guy's with his family, gets back to you on the weekends. And shout out to Pug TV. We kind of connected a little bit yesterday, followed each other. But everybody's giving a shout out to Dylan here, and I'm glad he's getting some sort of recognition of people jumping in. And it's had almost 1,000 views. Dylan deserves it. The guy's a great asset to Rumble and to us here. He takes good care of me. Rumble's awesome and so happy for you, Brad. Thanks, Jeff. I disagree with us taking over Gaza, but I'm definitely about protecting Israel. Yeah, man. I just got to mull it over. I don't know if I'm willing to even give a hot take on it. I just don't know if that's responsible. That's the only thing. I'm leaning more towards I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. I would, here's my hot take. I'll give you one. Because it's not too far off of what I was at before. I would rather have somebody else take it over. And quite frankly, I know it wouldn't happen. I don't mind Israel taking it over. I really don't. And maybe that's that's a hot take, but who else? The European Union, maybe. There's slim pickings, guys. There's slim pickings. So the reason why you would want either Israel, because Israel isn't going to kill themselves. I don't necessarily want Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, Iran taking it over, right? Because they want to see the death and destruction of the Jews. So I don't really want that. The EU is really, I guess, the one that would come to mind. But I don't know, man. A two-state solution, I just think it's been tried so many times. I just don't know if it's going to work. So my hot take is I personally don't really want the United States to get involved with it. In terms of rebuilding it, I think we got enough to worry about here right now to rebuild our own home. Yeah, Dave, same problem, but just deal with it. So it's the only problem I have with Rumble is the alerts. I have them set to immediate, but I don't get anything most of the time or an email the next day. Usually, I can say I get notified on my watch when I go live. They're pretty good about it. I will say that, but yeah, sometimes it does lag. It really depends, and I think it's when they're being bombarded mostly, Dave, but what I will say, way better in terms of notifications than YouTube. That's for sure. YouTube, I actually don't even get notifications. We got Bets here. What's going on, Bets? Good to see you. I have Rumble Premium. I don't seem to get those alerts that people are talking about. It might be worth it to buy it. It's $99 a year. Yeah, Rumble Premium, and mind you, we get discounts here, so use our promo codes when you can if you're gonna get Rumble Premium. It's worth it. And it used to be Israel or the U.S., and it has to be Israel or the U.S. Yeah. I think regardless, U.S. definitely needs to be involved in any negotiations that take place to stabilize it. But I mean, I know people don't like me saying that, but I don't know who else is gonna have I just don't know who else who would have the negotiations involved with. I get your alert spread because I pay for your service. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for paying for the service, Beth. I appreciate you. And I do see your subscriber. By the way, I'm gonna start giving shout outs to those that are Bets is a Locals supporter, so thank you for being over at Locals. Just so you're curious, Bets, I'm gonna let you in a little bit. Hopefully you're okay with me calling you Bets. The purpose of me having Locals is because when we start getting bigger, that's going to be the hub for like the P1 listeners, like Dan Bongino calls it. I know all your names right now. And so there's going to be a time where I'm going to have you guys transition so we can keep the community together, the tight-knit community together, those that are always here. And there's going to be a place on Locals for you. Obviously, you'd have to be a member to get there, but it's going to be its own separate chat that I'm going to have. So that's my goal, to keep our community together so that we don't go anywhere. I'm not going to forget you guys. I must be lucky. I always get YouTube alerts. Yes, Danielle, you are lucky. Because there's a lot of people that actually have to search up Bald Brad and then still even struggle finding my channel, and they're actually subscribed. It's a lot to take in right now because Trump is moving at warp speed, but we'll say at least he's holding on to the promises that he's making the American people. Yeah. Matthew, what's going on, Matt? The only notification I get on ScrewTube is telling me about your channel possibly being shut down from last year. Is that right, Matt? Holy crap. Well, it doesn't surprise me. We were almost shut down a couple times. Yeah, it's crazy what I deal with them, man. And they'll claim that nothing's wrong. Well, let's see what's going back on YouTube here. Or YouTube, I mean, X. Trump is absolutely right about Gazans being allowed to leave as refugees. In all other conflicts, everyone agrees suffering people should be allowed to get out of war zones. This is literally the only case where we say the opposite. But it's not, with the ceasefire right now, it technically is not a war zone, right? And look, if the people, if I would love for the people, if they want to get out, like if there's certain people there that are given refugee status and another country is willing to take them in, I would think, as much as that is your home, or you think it's your home, well, it doesn't matter. That might be your best opportunity, really, to just change and fork your family tree. It's just, you got to get up and go, you know? I don't want that to take place. I would love for them to flourish and be a part of the world and have unbelievable trade and prosperity, but I just don't see it happening. And that's the thing, you know? I mean, how many billions do you got to pour into a place that's the size of a neighborhood to get it to flourish? I don't know. I just want them to do well. That's all I care about. Oh, here we go. Ben has his, here's Ben Shapiro's take. This is what we've been waiting for. Undoubtedly, the most extraordinary and unexpected element of Trump's first term was his remaking of the Middle East with the Abraham Accords. He achieved that Nobel Prize worthy accomplishment by thinking outside the box, recognizing actual hard realities, and ignoring the conventional, basically, idiocy of the blob. He's doing the same now with Gaza. This vision is absolutely transformative. Whether this is his final vision of the region, a negotiation, there we go. So he's getting the same take that we are right now with the negotiation tactic. Whether this is his final vision of the region, a negotiation tactic to achieve better deals, or something else, there is no doubt that Trump's creative thinking is breaking the mold and changing things. Let Donald Trump cook. Get ready for full take on tomorrow's show. And this kind of goes into the art of the deal that a lot of you were talking about in the chat. See, us patriots, we get it. We could read between the lines. I think this is just a negotiation tactic. Come out. How bigger of there is no bigger statement saying, I'm taking over your shit. Like, and then you're really going to go like, Can we talk about it? And then what type of concessions, what type of things are you willing to give up? And I think a lot of people are picking up on it, that it's just a negotiation. I personally, you guys, I don't think Donald Trump wants Gaza. I think it's a negotiation tactic to really start getting the ball moving, and him going, what's the biggest boom boom I can make, that I'm going to take it over. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. You know, like the Dr. Evil. Because that's the only thing in my mind that actually makes sense to what I've seen from Donald Trump in the past. Being, again, a big supporter of him since 2014, 2015, whenever he walked down the escalator, decided to run, doesn't matter. Because he's not an idiot. You know, you don't get to build real estate and buildings by being an idiot, right? Why not fight for your own country to get better? Why run away? We stand up for our country. Stay and fix your country. Yeah, that was my take a while ago, Bets. It really was. Like, why would you not take up arms and go against Hamas? I just, one, they might not even have munitions. I don't know. But many countries aren't willing to rise up against their own nation to make it a better place. That's what makes America great. That's why we're so different. That's why our dream of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence has survived so long, is because we have an ideology. We have a dream. Although we don't reach it, we are always moving and trying to progress to be able to reach that goal. That's what makes us different. No other nation has goals and a vision of those goals, and to be able to try to attain those goals as America does. That's why we're different. That's why we're an outlier. No republic has ever lasted as long as we have. So I think it's a tactic. I really do. This just doesn't align with Donald Trump in terms of what I've seen before. Because if he wanted Gaza, he could have taken it before, right? It's nothing new. So let's see what people are saying to this post here. Gaza belongs to the Palestinians. Is it really America first? May God bless President Trump. Well, you know, there's Vivid again, that huge Jewish person. I'm not completely writing Trump off for one idea, but this seems really, really bad. I hope it's for negotiations, but I can't see anything good coming from owning or occupying Gaza. I think Dad Right Stuff has a good point. I'm not exactly sure what good and what ROI we're going to get out of this, rate of return. Well, I don't know. You know, what are we getting out of this, basically, at the end of the day? It's been a long day for me, as you can tell. We're trying to sip on coffee, but how many cups of coffee am I supposed to have in one day, folks? I don't know. I'm not really for, I think I'm building more of my opinion as I'm, filtering through. Folks, you're talking hundreds of billions of dollars to build Gaza. I just don't see us making that money back. Meaning, I don't want to make the investment, basically. Perfectly put, the fact Trump didn't let his ego get in the way after being snubbed a Nobel Peace Prize is the greatest surprise I've ever seen. Trump subverted his ego for the betterment of the world. That's, it's biased a little bit. A bunch of dirty socks. That's what we get. Yeah. NLR is saying exactly Trump's approach to the Middle East was a masterclass in realpolitik. He sidestepped the endless bureaucratic nonsense and actually got results. The Abraham Accords were something the experts said were impossible, yet here we are. And I think maybe this is trying to bring the surrounding nations together and create a peace agreement, saying, look, as long as we could create a peace agreement, I won't go into Gaza. I won't take it. Not a bad take. Not a bad take. I know I'm repeating myself. It's the only thing that makes sense here, because it's very unlike Trump to go in and just like, I'm going to take it. It's over. It's mine. I'm sorry. I'm going to build Trump Tower right on the beaches of Gaza. It's just is very unlike him, where it's more like him, I'd say, to make a negotiation tactic here. Quote unquote coffee. Yes, we drink that 1775 coffee and it's good. Yeah, it's just a very bold thing for Trump to say. I mean, he's stirring the pot for sure. For sure. Let's see what else we got coming out right now on the news. People are protesting, obviously. I want to make sure I get to your guys' chats. It's it's a lot to take in right now because Trump is moving at warp speed. We got that one. The only notification I get is ScrewTube. We got that one as well. Raymond says Trump always asks big and then makes the deal. Let him have space to cook. Exactly. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely agree with Raymond's take right there. Give him time to cook. Did you get more coffee yet? More. Randy's on. It's actually very watered down. It's what I had left over. No, this is Folgers. Wait. No, Don Fresco. Sorry. As you guys can tell, I love I love coffee. It's a Costco big can. I got many different brands and blends. So tell me, Brad, when do you sleep? I usually try to get in bed about 8:30, 9:30ish, and I like to read. 10:30 is when I sleep. Like I try to get up about 4:30. My alarm goes off at 4:30. Doesn't mean I get out of bed at 4:30, but that's usually what time. The latest I'm getting out of bed. I mean, there's been times, you guys, where I hit snooze like way too long. So I'm like, oh shit, I got to do the show. But I try my best to be awake by 5, out of bed for sure by 5:20. But I try to be up by 4:30. Get in the shower before the show. Try to get everything running. It's weird because I don't change anything in here. Like I just keep things simple, but when you have technology hiccups, it's not uncommon for me to try to have to figure something out, why something not working when I don't change anything. So, but that's when you really love doing something and you love hanging out with people. And that's what gets me up that early. Because I'm not a morning person. If anybody knows me personally, I've never have been, never will be. I am not a morning person at all, which is funny because we do a show in the morning. But I really do enjoy hanging out with you guys. And I don't say that lightly. And that's why it means a lot to me when you guys subscribe and you donate. I get to hang out with you guys. That's what I look forward to. Coffee is your drug? Maybe it is, but it's good. Okay, let's just give some quick updates here on what's going on around the news, and then we'll bounce out of here. I said I was going to leave like 15 minutes ago. So nobody seems to be really updating. I think a lot of people, like you guys said, are just trying to take it all in at the moment. Trump says he wants to take over Gaza Strip. He's threatening Iran. Pam Bondi gets in as attorney general. And then we're meeting young engineers here for Donald Trump's Doge, Elon Musk's Doge. So we got a lot of news to cover. I got to do show prep. I got to read up on some history because I got to figure out what the hell's going on over here in the Middle East. Coffee, have you had this? I received as a gift. Interesting flavor. I'll check that out. I don't like I like very bitter coffee. So here's a take for you. I love 1775, but I really also love Starbucks cold brew. It's kind of like my it's my treat to myself. And I'll kind of wet my whistle with that, but that's a very bitter taste and I love it. I don't like the sour taste of some coffees. So this is why I like this one. It's very bitter. It's about dinner time, folks. Great show this evening, Brad. Looking forward to the two-a-days. Yes, I will try to see if I can keep up with that. We'll see. As long as Trump keeps pumping out the news, I'll be here. But we'll end it there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this random live stream and bombshell news from Trump. We'll be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in about 12 hours. And would love for you to join us. If you're not a part of the community, we'll hit that like and subscribe button. It's absolutely free. If you feel like joining us, we do have memberships over at YouTube and Rumble. Would love for you to join there as well. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow morning here on the Walt Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.